All right, getting ready to go live.
5, 3, 2.
Welcome to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. So what is it that holds you from achieving greatness? Does greatness just come to those that are struck by lightning or have just hit that lucky streak? What really does make people achieve everything they want out of life? These questions span across the globe as millions of people settle into their life thinking that they don't have what it takes to truly get what they want out of life. Simply put, most people just give up on their dreams and aspirations to move forward with their repetitious habits that have been cemented around their lifestyle. Is this because they don't have what it takes to achieve their goals? The answer is no. You do have what it takes to accomplish anything you truly desire, and it starts with finding your inner you. With Get the You Factor, we go step by step in educating you on the key principles to achieve anything you want out of life. By tapping into our resources and following along with our weekly broadcast, we will guide you through a journey of self-awareness and self-improvement. We will take you deep into your mind to determine what mental blocks you have that are holding you back from your true potential. You do have what it takes, and we're here to prove it to yourself. How's it going this week, Mike?
It's going well. Got a lot of busy activities going on, and I've got both my books are coming off the print. So Mastering the Mindset's coming off print and ready to start hitting the bookshelves. And then the one I did with Barbara Corcoran in Entrepreneurs on Fire. So both of those are about to hit the bookstores and start being distributed. I'm working on the website for it and the videos and just a lot of really good things. And then the third book I got back from the editor, you know, Managing Your Commitment. So this week has been a lot of books and preparing a lot of trainings I'm doing right now, some presentation trainings and things of that nature on personality types, how to deal with personality types and public speaking and, you know, the sales process. So it's been busy week. How about yourself? What's been going on with you?
Oh man, just staying busy. Now you mentioned Barbara Corcoran. Isn't she from that show, The Shark Tank?
Yeah, she's was the original one of the original ladies with Shark Tank, short hair. She's the real estate billionaireess.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so me and a couple authors have co-authored with her in a book, again, Entrepreneurs on Fire. So that'll be coming out. It's talking about the principles of what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, been an entrepreneur since I was 12, and I know you've been doing since, you know, early age as well. And, you know, we were just talking about today how we're survivors, you know, that, you know, we find ways to make things happen, and that's part of that entrepreneur spirit.
Never
right?
give up, never give in.
Exactly. So that book's around those principles from different entrepreneurs from all different walks of life, and I just happen to be one of the lucky and fortunate ones that was able to put a whole chapter, 15 pages into the book. So
that's phenomenal. I can't wait to read it and see some more of your great stuff. And you know, myself, I've just been kind of living by some of these affirmations and making some changes in my life, and you know, it's just I just feel great today. It's been a great week. A lot of big things have happened. I made some merges with some other agencies, and I'm going to be building a website for one of the largest nightclubs in San Francisco.
Awesome.
A nightclub called Temple SF.
Mm-hmm.
And going to be some fun things there, and going to be able to get a little VIP action as I do it. So,
oh, there you go.
So I might be spending some time out in the Bay Area.
Well, there you go. That'd be fun. Stop by and pick me up on the way. Then.
Absolutely.
Gabby would love to go, so, you know, we'll be part of the date night. We'll all go out.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
It'd be fun.
So what we do every week is we go into the book Mastering the Mindset by Mike Driggers, and this book's all about the power of affirmations. And so each week what we do is we read one of these affirmations, and so our goal for you is to recite this affirmation 3 times a day for the entire week. You're going to look at it in the mirror, in your bathroom, in the morning as you're getting ready, as you park your car, look in your rearview mirror. Not as you're parking it, but after you're parked. Throughout the day when you use a restroom, or even if you just walk by a mirror, look up and say one of these affirmations, and look into your own eyes as you say them, because it makes a big difference in how the affirmation works. So today's affirmation is, I overcome stressful situations with a calm spirit. Again, I overcome stressful situations with a calm spirit. In all situations, I rely on my calmness and peace of mind to help me overcome. Later, in moments of tranquility, I look inwardly at the effects of stress. Observing them, I renew my determination to take a step back whenever they occur. When I feel my chest start to tighten, I recognize the experience as a manifestation of stress. In times like these, I rely on my calm spirit to ease my tension and allow me to breathe normally again. I tell myself that no circumstance is worth such a reaction. I'm convinced that stress is destructive towards the mind, body, and soul. Feeling the effects of stress means I am off track. So instead, I let the experience remind me to slow down and breathe. I acknowledge that taxing and worrying circumstances are a part of life. I recognize that the word stress exists because the experience is common. However, I accept that neutralizing stress is more rewarding than allowing it to consume me. My natural peace of mind, confidence, and motivation are much more fulfilling than the feeling of stress, and they take me where I want to go. I naturally evoke these states of being when I make a conscious decision to let stress fall by the wayside. Today, I refuse to allow stress to take over. Instead, I commit to allowing calmness and composure to reign supreme. When I am stress-free, I am peaceful and focused. My goals are within easy reach when tension is absent from my life. Wow, that's powerful.
That's huge, huh? Last week I was under a lot of pressure for, these presentations. I had to develop like 7 brand new presentations, and just putting all that together, plus daily life and kids and things, and I had to reflect back to this affirmation this past week, and how to calm the spirit, and kind of take into hand what was going on, and use this, and it was a big helper for me this week, and it just I think it's definitely something that can help a lot of people. And as you know, we always talk about the self-reflection questions in the book. So I've designed the book with an affirmation, but then I want you to reflect on some of the questions that goes with that affirmation. Question 1 is, in what ways do I overcome stressful situations? Right? I want you to think about that. Again, in what ways do I overcome stressful situations? Then number 2, do I accomplish more when I banish stress from my being? Again, number 2, do I accomplish more when I banish stress from my being? And then number 3, can stress fuel my desire to succeed? Or is it counterproductive? Sometimes stress, you can use as a way to succeed and push yourself forward, to get you up off of being, what's the word,
proactive.
Yeah, something like that, where you're lazy. You put everything off to the last minute, right? So again, 3, can stress fuel my desire to succeed, or is it counterproductive? Now, we also have you go away talking about the quote and think about it and how you can apply it in your life. The quote of today is, I challenge myself to be calm in order to release daily pressures. And this is author unknown. That's a powerful quote because, I want you to think about that. As I was going through this week, I was challenging myself to be calm. I'd kind of count down, meditate a little bit, and release some of the stress, reorganized. I had to reorganize my checklist, start off with 3 major things I needed to do, broke them down into 5 things to achieve those 3 major things, and who did I need to call upon, and so on. So it helped manage the whole process and stress. So
absolutely. Stress is definitely something that probably almost all Americans experience on a regular basis, and everybody around the world absolutely experiences stress. And stress can be counterproductive. I talk a little bit about it when I said the story about Mr. Successful a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And the guy that wanted to become successful, and then he said, you know what, forget it, I don't want to be successful, and he decides to sleep in. And so stress can actually do things to the body to make you just want to pass out and give up on life, give up on everything, and just give in.
Yeah, it makes you, want to just kind of avoid everything, kind of crawl into your hole of your own world, and not go out there and do the things that you want to do or need to do in a lot of cases, right? And so sometimes that stress can really control you. So how do you overcome it? Well, that affirmation and that quote definitely helps you.
Absolutely.
Gets you on path.
And, what we talk about is be fluid like water, and, work your way through each and every obstacle. And, my mother, she gave me a middle name, Blandon. And Blandon stands for the people's peaceful victory. And so you got to peacefully, calmly, victoriously work your way through everything.
Blandon?
Blandon.
What nationality or what is that language from?
Well, I'm Cherokee Indian, Irish, and Spanish. I'm not sure. I think it's from hippie language.
Hippie language. Hey, it works.
Hey, I grew up in rainbow gatherings.
Hey, if that's what it means and she told you, then hey, it works, right? So I like that. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's better than my middle name.
What's that?
Leroy.
Leroy.
Yeah, it's a Southern boy.
It's got a little blues to it.
Yeah. My Leroy means king. So God, and my Michael, godlike king. So I'm a godlike king.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what my name means. I don't act it.
So your next question is, are you going to bow down?
Yeah, exactly.
That's an uncomfortable question.
Yes, which is the topic today. Dealing with uncomfortable situations or an uncomfortable question. And so today's show is really going around, how do you deal with that or recognizing it? There's a lot of different things, from work to, uncomfortable situations at work to maybe at the home or friends or out in the public. And so, what do you do in that type of situation?
Well, I know, one of the most common uncomfortable situations is, when you're walking around, you're networking, you've got maybe your girlfriend or your business partner or somebody with you, and you're excited to introduce them to somebody.
Yeah.
And then you forget their name.
Yeah.
And you've got this blank stare on your face. You're like, this is. Yeah. And you wait for a second for them to go and say their name, and you kind of don't know quite what to do. So one of the things I'll do is if I do the introduction, then I'll act like all of a sudden my phone's vibrating as I'm starting the introduction, and so I'll look at my phone for a second, and hopefully they've stepped in and made the change. What would you do in that situation?
Well, that happens to me quite a bit. I meet so many people, and I'm the worst when it comes to names. So I practice on saying their names at least 3 or 4 times. Especially if it's somebody ongoing. But I've had that happen, and one of the things that I've learned is to just hit it straight on and just say, you know what, I apologize, but I'm not very good at remembering names. Faces I never forget, but names, can you help me refresh your name? I apologize, right? And I just write on.
Well, do you think that maybe, let's say it's a big meeting, and that's the CEO of some company, and you go to do the introduction, you can't remember his name, but you're supposed to ask him for a check afterwards?
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable thing when you can't introduce the person appropriately. And so going back, I was sent to a memory class one time. I was a mortgage company I was doing some technology work for, and they sent me to this memory class, and it was all about remembering your names.
Right.
So as I walk in, there was about 50 people that went to the class, and we're all walking in, and we shake hands with the instructor, and we all sit down. He then, right after that, pointed to each and every single one of us and said our first and last name, and there was about 50 of us.
Wow.
We were blown away. We were like, how the heck did he do that? That's incredible.
That is.
And so we started going through the class, and he said, it deals with name association. So when you meet somebody, I come up, I introduce yourself. Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Mike Driggers.
So instantly, I associate Mike with Michael Jackson because as a kid, my first cassette tape was Thriller, right?
I gotcha.
I do the dance and all that stuff,
Mine would have been Mikey Likes It.
Right?
Right.
Or Mike Jordan,
Yeah, Mike Jordan, yeah.
And so at the same time, I mentally place your name on a part of my body. I don't touch that part. I don't do anything with it, but I mentally place you there. So by the time I've gone around to about 20 people, he says, I've placed them mentally in different spots of my body, and I've done a mental association with a name that makes me remember their name.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so by doing that, he says your mind is simply like a file cabinet.
Sure.
And most people, it's just scattered and all over the place, and it's a mess.
It's cluttered. Yeah, exactly.
And so by doing that mental placement, mental association, he says that you can then remember so much more.
Exactly. Now you got that little guy that's running over to the file cabinet and pulling out that name for you. So, well, listen, we're going to be talking about uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable questions, and social media. That helps on name too. If you're going into that office, search CEO. Who's the CEO's name of such and such company?
Smartphones are wonderful.
Yeah. So, but we're going to come back here in a little bit. We're going to get into details about handling questions and also situations, and talk about some of the ones out there. So as soon as we get back from commercial break here at One Talk Network and GetTheYouFactor.com, we'll get into some of these details. And we thank you for paying attention to us and listening to upcoming episode here. So we'll talk to you here in a bit.
We'll see you soon.
Bye. Boy, that 20 minutes flew by.
Yeah, it really did. It felt like 5.
I know. It's like,
oh, we were having fun with it. And for those of you that are watching online, this is currently the break right now. So there's commercials that are being played on the radio station. You're seeing the raw, you're seeing the real. This is a time when we ask you guys, if you like something about the topic of the show, remember it's live on Tuesdays, 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're seeing it any other time after that, feel free to chime in. But hit us up on Twitter. Send us a message on our Facebook fan page. Get involved with some of these questions and start, telling us a little bit about your thoughts and some of the things that you feel are uncomfortable or comfortable questions or situations. And, how would you respond?
That's cool. It's off the website. He's showing us Bill, our co-part to this that helps us with the show, and he's showing us.
Show the camera.
Show the camera. Hey, look, we're on.
A little closer. A little closer. A little
there
closer.
You go. Look, that's us off the website.
There's a little delay there.
15-second delay, so it's going to come up.
We wave here. There we go.
Here it goes. There you go. Live off the website. And make sure to register. Get registered for all of our free content that we put out on our weekly show. Here soon we'll have all the downloadable ebooks and documents up online for you to get access to. So make sure you get registered along with a lot of the articles that we have, that you'll have access to. So go to GetTheYouFactor.com if you're seeing this from somewhere else. If you're seeing it from our website, you're already there. So go ahead and get registered. I believe you scroll down. We need to move that up to where people can register a lot easier, huh?
Yeah, it's basically when you click on the button, yes, let me in. I want to get started. Yeah. There's a bunch of arrows that point to it right on the website, and once you click on that, it takes you to where you can sign up and get started. It's only $97 for a year, and some people ask, what do I get for $97?
Yeah, that's the paid content, and that's, people are paying $500 to $2,000 for that content, and we've put 5 different subject matters in the back. One personal development kit, then the resolution revolution, right? The
winning
ways, champions mindset, right? And 365 goal system.
Now, if you decide that you want to hold off a little bit and just watch the shows and the content that comes with the shows.
Oh, right. We're being told 3 seconds.
Welcome to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. You guys, we just got back from break, and we're talking about 5 ways to respond to uncomfortable questions. So You
or
know,
situations.
or situations.
Right.
What about when somebody calls you and says, "I know what you did last summer"?
Yeah.
You might be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortable
right?
right there. Well, you know, one of the things is first off, in any situation, is one, accept the situation. Don't panic about it.
Yes.
Right? Because if you panic, you're drawing more attention to it. So you got to be soothed and cool about it. Right?
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Then you move into the next mode, which is then you got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do to deal with that? You know, like you were saying, walking in just before we went to break, you know, you got a CEO that you're hoping to get a check from, or somebody in there that's the marketing or whatever your business is, and you're in business and you can't remember their name. You've got to instantly search, you know, use your smartphone, emails, social media, something, you know, stay cool about it. And you know, try to find out prior to going in, or if you blank out. I've done that too. Like, I know the person,
Mm-hmm.
and I've blanked out, and you know, and I just, oh man, I'm having a brain fart. Sorry about that, you know, or you know, something. But you've got to deal with that situation, and just don't panic about it. Don't, you know, don't flip out, because then you just draw more attention. You know, you've seen some people where they say something like the one where you go up to a girl and you ask her when she's due, right? And she's really not pregnant. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
You know,
and then you get that look like, were you just talking to me?
yeah, and so then you're fumbling all over yourself trying to apologize,
Yeah.
because you panic, right? And you're drawing all this attention to.
And my problem is I can't hide it. I know you're Indian like myself. If I do something that makes me uncomfortable, instantly I'm beat red.
Yeah, you get embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there's different things for different situations, but though, you know, that's one, accept it. Two, deal with it. And then, you know, the next one is that you can avoid it, or you know, kind of head straight on with it, you know, dealing with it, and just sometimes just saying, hey, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you've got to take some type of action, which is the next. You know, if I've never done this personally, but I can imagine if I say, oh, you know, when you do, and she's not really pregnant, you're like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, you know, I've been in this baby mode lately, or
You
whatever.
just had this glow about you.
Yeah,
It was just
exactly.
emanating from you. I just felt, you know, something was going
There
on.
you go.
What is
There-
it?
You've got tremendous glow, and I just thought that maybe that you were pregnant, you know. I don't know.
Hey, my cousin's daughter, you know, she was pregnant for 6 months and didn't even know it.
Really?
No, I just say that.
Oh. Actually, there's true stories about people like that. They don't even know, even up to term.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's crazy.
I've heard these stories, but I've never met anybody in that situation. But
You know, I got caught one time. I was sitting in a theater and I was watching a movie, and the movie was actually kind of slow, and I fell asleep and I started drooling on myself. All the lights came on, and I've got this little puddle of drool down onto my
oh my goodness.
And, you know, of course, I'm like up on the side row where everybody's walking past me and looking at me. And, you know, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. What do you do?
You can't do anything.
I've actually got a pretty funny story. When I was in high school, you know how kids are. I was on the football team, and you know, we'd always joke around with each other. Well, we had 2 days during the summers where you'd do things in the mid morning and then late afternoon, but you'd take a break, right? So me and a bunch of the guys and the football guys go running out of the locker, and we had this Taco Bell right by the school. Well, here I am. I'm not going to go in all my pads, so I just really quickly throw it on a sweatpants and T-shirt, and you know, just ran out there to Taco Bell. Well, so we're all in line and we're getting ready to eat, and one of the guys, we always would go around and pants that person, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, here I am at the counter, getting ready to walk up to the counter, and they pants me. Well, what happened is I'd taken off the jock strap, and so I was kind of free floating. And so when they pantsed me, here I am in Taco Bell with no underwear. Well, that's not.
And it was cold.
Yeah, it was real cold. And then, but that wasn't the worst part. What the worst part is that when I tried to pull the pants up, it got into a knot. And so I'm jumping around, and things are flying in the wind, right? And I'm at Taco Bell, and all these people are coming through, and I'm trying to get my sweatpants back up. And so I was having trouble, so I kind of just leaned against the counter and act like there was nothing and ordered my Taco Bell. But there's a situation where it's uncomfortable. It's like, what do you do? Right?
You still eat Taco Bell, right?
Oh, I still ate Taco Bell. I didn't miss my meal, but.
Well, I have a client, and I'm not going to say any names about the client, but he does sewer lines.
Uh-huh.
And I guess, he got called to a Taco Bell, and he made the wrong turn on the pipe or something, and a bunch of the sewer lines spit up to the ceiling in the Taco Bell.
Oh, wow.
I wonder how he overcame that situation.
That's crazy. That's a major uncomfortable situation.
I'm not going to tell you which Taco Bell it was.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, don't let me know. I don't want to know. And uncomfortable situations and questions come in all sizes, all different directions. You could be as simple as like, have you ever waved to someone, right? And you're waving to them, and then you realize it's somebody you don't know, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, and the person's like looking at you kind of weird. I mean, that's a small one, right? What do you do in that situation? I kind of act like you're combing your hair or something.
Well, I mean, just downstairs right before I came up to the radio show, I'm looking at Bill. And I'm telling Bill, because I smoke. It's a bad habit. It's something I need to get rid of. And I look up and, hey, man, I got to kill the craving. And this lady and her boyfriend were walking by, and she thought I was talking to her. And he looks at me like I'm trying to flirt with her or something. And I'm smoking, and I pointed to Bill.
Yeah, and it's like this big burly dude.
Yeah,
he's
like
about to beat up on me.
He's going to chase me down
totally
an old sack and beat me with one of the railroad ties.
Yeah, that's the last thing you need, right?
Right.
Well, and again, another small one is, have you ever been in a meeting or something and you laugh out loud, but you're the only one laughing? And everybody else is not amused, and you're like, okay, that awkward situation.
Yes,
right?
or your stomach's a little upset from the night before, and you're in a meeting, and you have to barf in the garbage can. I've been there, and it's not easy to overcome. But what you do is you kind of play it off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You relax, you stay calm, you talk about something different. Look, it's Elvis.
Yep. Or, how about the, look, it's Elvis. How about the, I just got that, right? So, a little slow today. Ding. Hey, wake up. All right. So, leaving the bathroom, somebody has toilet paper on their shoes or whatever, or it's yours, right? And you're walking around with this toilet paper. Or how about this? Especially when you travel a lot, I've seen this, right? So in the airports and restaurants, and when you're traveling, people use those little donut ring papers for the toilets to sit on. Well, I saw a guy, professional guy, suit, tie, he didn't have his suit jacket, but he had a tie, shirt, slacks, and I guess when he got up, the paper got caught, and it was hanging out the back of his belt, that paper that sits on and he's walking around, and I'm like looking at this guy like, geez, oh no, feeling bad for him because he's walking down, and everybody's starting to laugh, and I'm like, oh man. So I had to run up. I actually ran up and kind of covered him up and told him, put my arm over, hey bud, I just wanted to let you know.
And that's really important too. Is when you notice somebody that's in an uncomfortable situation, you got to take the time to go and help them out of it, because it's tough when you're the person that's in that uncomfortable situation, and hopefully I don't ever get there where I end up with
with that hanging out the back of your britches.
Take a number.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The other one, are like you're on a date, right? And you're getting to know each other, and now this person leans in and tries to kiss you, and there's that awkward moment, right? Either you want to or you don't.
Or her breath stinks.
Yeah, or her breath stinks. Like, exactly. Like, you want to kiss, but like her breath's like Bruce Lee. It's kicking, right? It's bad, right? So you're like, oh man, you want to avoid it and kiss her on the hand, or maybe she doesn't want to kiss you, so she turns her cheek, and there's that awkward moment. And how do you play off something like that? There's there's all types of them, and again, part of life is that you're going to have these awkward moments, and let's talk a little bit about at work, right? You may have a situation where you have a coworker that's kind of slacking off and constantly while you're working hard. A lot of people have that and that tendency, and there's this awkward moment. Do you say anything? And one of the first things I tell people is before you start pointing your fingers at somebody, make sure that the 3 fingers that are pointing back at you from your own hand are taken care of, right? Because you may be doing something that isn't right or annoying, so you've got to really look at it. But then the other thing is this, and especially with someone at work, is it really, unless it's interrupting what you need to do with your job, if it's affecting your job, then you need to approach it, right? And maybe your boss doesn't see that person doing it, and you need to approach the person and just say, hey, I really need this project by this timeline, and you set definitive dates. But at the same time, if it's not something that's affecting your job, does it really matter? Right? Does it's not you that's being affected. Sometimes a lot of people feel that they need to be responsible for that or say something, because of the jealousy. Well, this guy does nothing and I'm working over here hard to do. Look, give it your best at what you do. Don't worry what others do if it's not. But there's that situation, or maybe your boss asks you to go pick up his dry cleaning, right? I had a boss once that had me go pick up her daughter, from different places and drive her around, and I felt like a cat, a chauffeur, and I wasn't really. That's not what my job was.
It wasn't in the description.
Yeah, it wasn't in the description, and so I wasn't like a babysitter, and so, but I felt that way. So I approached the situation that every time that I'm doing that, it takes me from the task at hand that I need to do to get my job done and things and projects. So you've got to approach the situation and explain in a calm way that that you need to do this and you can't be doing this. You explain to them the pros and cons. If I'm over here driving and delivering and picking up kids and babysitting, and it's affecting the way I do my job.
Absolutely, and some of that we go over in the worksheet in the back of GetTheYouFactor.com. When you go in and watch this current show that we've got, it says, subtly show your discomfort. Make eye contact with the person. Show the discomfort that you've got. Say, I don't know what to say. This comment puts the onus of the conversation on the other person. And so when you tell them, when you show whatever your discomfort is and you explain that to them, be straight up about it. Be honest about it. The second part, be honest about your feelings. Tell them openly exactly how you feel, why you're uncomfortable, and what's going on. Don't be that person that takes everybody else's problems and decides to be the one that goes and tells the boss all the time about all these other things. But if it's something that is really making you, yourself, personally uncomfortable, show the discomfort, be honest about your feelings, then maybe change the subject. If it's something that, is in the middle of a conversation that's made you uncomfortable, change the subject. Or if it's something that, maybe it's, I'm giving a speech in front of a bunch of entrepreneurs and all this stuff, and I'm walking around shaking hands, and this girl tells me how she wants me to go on a date with her, maybe I just have to ignore it.
Right.
And ignore right past that and continue going on with whatever you're doing. There's a lot of uncomfortable situations, and the biggest thing is to casually work your way through them.
Yes. Yes, and it could be something like a situation where, someone's passed away, and your condolences, right? That's always a tough one. Like, hey, what do you say to someone, right? How you doing? Oh, my mom just passed. And you're like, so what do you say? Oh, I'm so sorry, or that uncomfortable moment. How do you approach it? Well, you've got to come from the heart.
Yep.
I think that's the important thing too when you're dealing with that. As you recognize it, you've accepted it. Now you need to take action, and sometimes coming from the heart and just being sincere can help overcome a lot of that stuff.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Exactly. So, folks, we're going to go to a commercial break here, and we're going to come back and finish up our conversations today on uncomfortable situations and or uncomfortable questions. What do you do? Here at OneTalkNetwork.com and GetTheYouFactor.com. So we'll talk to you here in a quick minute.
You know, when I realized there was only a few seconds left, I was a little uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
I'm like, wait, guys.
Quit talking.
That's true. Hey, we'll bring that up.
And everybody saw on camera too?
Yeah, there you go. Saw it on camera.
You know, I'm excited for these shows that are coming up. Because
Yeah.
you go on to, you guys go on Get the You Factor, look at all episodes. But, dude, look at this. What's coming up?
Mm-hmm.
It's just excitement. Top 10 success tips from winners.
Yep.
You know, we've got 9 building blocks of personal empowerment,
There's some-
office organizational strategies.
Some really good content coming up.
Oh, man.
Yep.
But next week, Love Your Body, Love Your Life. We're going to have a guest here on the show as well, I believe.
Awesome.
And this is all about helping you to discover how to love your body and treat it as a temple.
Absolutely. Right? Spiritual.
I need to quit smoking for that to happen.
My temple's gotten a little thick on the bottom. I got to bring it back together.
It's a tempus.
Yes, exactly. It's getting wide down there. I'm adding an extra quarter to my pyramid. Okay.
Oh, we got to move this one. We should probably time the week 29 with Christmas. A jolly guide to filling your holidays with joy.
I think it's right. That one's right around November, December.
Okay.
So it's like right getting into the holidays.
I think the next thing I want to do is start mapping out these episodes on a calendar.
Yeah.
And then have that calendar spit out an alert everywhere.
That'd be cool.
You know?
Yeah. We need to, you know, the other thing I was thinking about is, man, we can go down in Old Sac here and ask people a bunch of questions, like do interview questions.
Do some uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, like, you know, just interview, say, how do you deal with, what are your success tips? We have a radio
It
show.
says no shoes, no shirt, no service back there. What about no pants?
Yeah. Exactly. Do I keep those on or
See
take
what
those
see what
off?
the answer is.
Got 45 seconds.
Is your fruit fresh?
Is your wood wet?
Yes, exactly.
You're the one that started
I
that.
know. Hey, sorry. I'm always starting something, right?
Mr. Driggers, what's a wet wood?
Yeah. Your wood ain't wet. You ain't excited. You better put some fuel on it.
15 seconds.
15 seconds till we go live. Of course, we're live on the video.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
5,
4, 3.
Welcome back to Get the You Factor with Mike Driggers and Nicholas Fordham. And, you know, we're talking about uncomfortable questions and how to respond to them, uncomfortable situations, and, you know, what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking a little bit about, you know, some stuff during the break here, and, you know, we brought up some interesting topics and some things to do. We were actually talking about possibly going and interviewing a few people and asking them some funny questions. So you never know. We might get a few videos in the members area. So what I want you to do is go right now. If you're not doing anything else, pull out your smartphone, go to your computer, jump on your laptop, and go to Get the You Factor. Let's do it one more time.
Yes.
Get the You Factor.
We're a little off there, but hey, we'll get it in sync, right? You know, we're talking about uncomfortable situations. Even our Mad Max engineer guy that keeps us running, you know, he got so caught up in our conversation I think that he lost track of time, and all of a sudden, oh, 3 seconds, hold on, we got to go.
Stop talking.
Stop.
We got 3 seconds. We're going to be live.
There's this uncomfortable situation, like, oh my God, a panic sat in, right? This excitement was built up, and you know,
or when your co-host eats beans before he shows up.
Yeah, yeah, and then lets you know.
Hey, by the way, this show's going to be long.
Yeah, yeah, and the doors are shut. You can't get out, right? How about someone texting you? Have you ever text somebody, you know?
And when you text the wrong person.
Yeah, you're like talking dirty to someone and you text them.
That honestly happened with my girlfriend. You know, she thought she was texting me because I was away. I was down in Los Angeles for some meetings, and she was texting me all this erotic stuff. And turns out it was her mother she was texting. So I was like, babe, take a screenshot of that. But what she did is she avoided the situation because she said, Mom, I'm so sorry about that. You know, I was drinking, and, you know, my girlfriend, she's a little intoxicated. She took my phone and just started texting.
Yep. That's crazy.
That's how she overcame it, you know. And still, to this day, her mother kind of looks at you a little bit different.
That's kind of.
What was your name?
Exactly. Who are you? How about you know, have you ever been in a restaurant, right? And you're there with your dream date, you know, this person you really care for, and all of a sudden your ex walks in.
Oh yeah.
Ex-wife, right, or girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do? Right? You got to stay calm. First, you accept it, recognize it, right? And then act like no big deal. Right?
And you got to make them both happy, though, because if you don't make the ex a little bit happy, the situation's going to explode right in front of your face.
Good, especially if it was just current,
mm-hmm.
right? If it's a current situation. You guys just broke up last week or 2 weeks ago, and now you're in front of this girl. You've been with your ex for 3 years, and now you're on a date with this other girl. That awkward situation, you know. If you're the one that broke it off, or if you were broken up with, you may be still heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, how to handle those emotions. You're out with somebody, you know, and so.
For me, I'd say check, please.
Yeah, check. but then it draws attention, right?
Sure.
So now the
Sure.
other girl's like, what's going on, right? So, and even if they don't know, or maybe you're honest, say, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, my ex walked in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm having such a great time with you. I'd like to maybe take it to another place, or, you know, let's go somewhere else, or, you know, being sincere and being honest. I think that's the best way to approach it, or again, if you can, just avoid it and talk about it later.
But don't hide it. You know, stay. Confront the situation, and you know, it's a matter of if you're going to confront it right away. Let the woman you're on a date with know, hey, look, my ex just walked in. It might be a little bit uncomfortable. I may have to go and talk to her for just a second to make sure she doesn't get uncomfortable.
Right.
And I will be right back, and we'll be able to continue here. If we feel like going somewhere else, then, you know, let's go somewhere else.
Sure.
And I think that nips it in the bud. That, you know, that makes it to where both sides are going to be able to hopefully be understanding. There's no dishes that are going to be flying across the restaurant or anything like that, and you know, you're going to be able to continue to go on with your evening and enjoy it.
Absolutely. You know, how about a flirty boss, right? I've never had that situation happen, but I mean, what do you do with somebody that's a flirty boss? You know, that creates that uncomfortable situation, right?
I had a dream about that last night.
What, a flirty boss?
She was hot too.
Man. She was in a business suit or what?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that, right? You know, because then it starts crossing the lines into, you don't want to sit there and you know, complain, and then it becomes like a sexual harassment, and it puts your job in situation. But here's the thing, I think you got to nip it in the butt right away.
Yeah, and you know, it's different for us guys.
Right.
You know, I'll be honest. You know,
Yeah.
women face stuff like that, sexual harassment, issues in the workplace on a regular basis. You know, this stuff happens quite often, and sometimes you don't want to just, you know, forget about it and ignore it. If it's really affecting you, you know, maybe you need to talk to human resources and raise it a level and go a different direction with it instead of confronting that specific person, because you never know. I mean, that specific person who might be your boss, yeah, he can fire you right away and give whatever reason.
Right.
But if you go to human resources and tell exactly what's going on, be truthful, honest about it. Don't do it as some sort of a scheming thing to get your boss in trouble when he didn't do anything.
Well, don't you think would you prefer going to the boss first before you go to HR, or would you? Because I've never thought about that. You know, I've never been in that situation. But would you? For me, I would approach the person first.
Yeah.
And then after that, maybe go to, if it's still going on, then I would go to HR and let them know. But even if in small businesses they don't have an HR.
Yeah.
You know, and small business owners sometimes think they can do things or get away with things that they shouldn't. And so how do you deal with that uncomfortable situation? I think also, you know, not only nipping it, but always talking about your boyfriend or your girlfriend in every conversation, I think is important. Right?
Let it known.
Yeah, let it known, and you know, and just, you know, tell them that, you know, you really don't appreciate that because I know my boyfriend or my girlfriend wouldn't like it. And then look, if it keeps going and it's persistent, then you've got to look for other alternatives and probably leave the situation. But how about somebody that's always wanting to know your business, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, always, what are you doing? What are you up to? How is, you know, or how about when your friend wants to borrow money? Right?
I've had plenty of those.
Yeah, you get situations like that. You want to help your friend, but then your policy may be that you don't loan friends money, right? And how do you deal with that type of situation, right? You know, you just, again, recognize the situation, right? You may show your discomfort, be honest in your feelings, right? Which is what we're talking about, and just explain to them that it's, you know, not in your policy. Now, if it's something that you're a true friend for you or whatever, and you want to help, do it with, you know, no expectations. I guess that's what I would say, is I never expect to get anything back, but because then you're never disappointed.
Well, if it's a really close friend, look at their current situation. You know, if they are in need of money, you know, ask them, hey, you know, what other things can you do to go get that money right now? Tell me a little bit about your personal life. Really get involved. If you really care about somebody, you know, find a way to shift them. Because if they're in that situation right now and asking for money, 9 times out of 10, they've been in that situation 100 times before. And so you got to find out the root cause. Find out what their block is that's blocking them from making the money, and then see if you can help talk them through it, talk them through that situation. And maybe if it is a good idea right now to loan them a couple $100 or, you know, get them past that point, then maybe you're doing it. But at the same time, you're wanting something in return. You're wanting them to turn the corner in their knowing and their know-how of them getting themselves in this situation.
Right, exactly. Or how about a coworker that's always asking for money? You know, I mean, I've had, you know, or people that I've known that's been in that situation. I've had people tell me, you know, their coworker was always asking, you know, can I borrow some money for lunch? And
it goes a little different too. I mean, you know, when you're working in a job site, or you know, you've got a group of people that comes and everybody knows that you're going out to lunch, they kind of tag along, right?
Sure.
And then they leave you the bill.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're left with the bill, and you end up having to pay for everything. So how do you know? Again, we recognize it. We accept it, but then we need to approach it, right? And you could be very upfront, but then it could ruin your relationship. You know, this particular person I knew sent him an invoice for the month because he kept not paying for lunch. Now, that's pretty abrasive, I think.
It gets the point across.
You know, but you know, maybe just if you see a common pattern, you just say, hey, I didn't bring enough today. Right, or go a little bit later. Say, I'll catch up with you guys, or you know, maybe something. But eventually, you've got to deal with the situation, and that's the one thing I think the principles that we'll walk away today is that recognizing it, accepting it, and then taking action. Because if you let it keep building, right, then it's going to create more issues, and you need to head straight on and deal with the situation as much as it's uncomfortable for you to even deal with it. Right? You may have a angry coworker that blows up. You know, I always see this video of this guy that blew up at his computer, was breaking it in like hundreds of pieces. You know, how do you deal with that type of person? And again, I think.
Well, you're talking about the
approaching
movie
first-
Office Space, right?
Oh, was it? No,
Office
there's actually
Space.
a YouTube video out there. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to need those TPS reports.
Yeah. Guy blows up. Yeah, exactly. Or like Bill said, Dumber and Dumber.
Mhm.
Right? The guy's in your house and blows up your bathroom. It clogs the toilet. How do you deal with that situation?
You know? Come on, you can't even leave the fan on when you leave my bathroom.
Where's the spray? Right?
You know, and I think the biggest thing too, you mentioned, about, the what you gain from the show, and I think also is learning over time what uncomfortable situations do you encounter on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
And how can you position yourself to avoid them. So perfect example, going out to lunch and, a bunch of people there at the table, from past experience to make sure that, you ask the waiter or the waitress, hey, is this on separate tabs?
Yeah.
And you just say it just loud enough so everybody else at the table hears it, and it sets the stage.
Right.
You've got to set the stage to position yourself so that you're not in that uncomfortable situation.
Absolutely, and recognizing those situations. I think the more that you get in a habit of recognizing them, a lot of people are unconfrontational, right? They don't do it. They don't deal with confrontation. There's others that love they thrive on it, right? And so you've got to learn to recognize those and understand. And sometimes too, uncomfortable situations could be someone being honest with you.
Yeah.
And now, how do you handle that? Someone, may say something about your love handles, right? And you get upset, right? Well, there's probably truth to it. Sometimes I always tell people that, truth hurts. And so you've got to learn how to recognize that uncomfortable situation, because it's not about, again, if there's something you're sensitive about, remember, it's you that controls the outcome from that conversation. The old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones,
but words will never hurt me.
Exactly. I mean, you're in control of you, so you need to make the decisions how you react. But understand that, someone makes a comment. Some people, again, some people won't come straight out, and they'll hint around it, right? And so
for weeks or even months.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got to recognize that. If it's a pattern and you're seeing it, recognize it, accept it, understand it, and action. Deal with it.
And look for it too in personality types. There's all different types of personality types. There's people that are very shy. They'll hold it in until they explode. There's people that are very confrontational. They come at you like crazy, and half the time they don't even know what they're coming at you frustrated or anxiety driven about. And understand the person. And the more you understand the different types, personality types that are out there, and understand reading their body language and the way they are with their attitude and feeling their aura, their presence, you can actually in a sense prepare yourself for what's to come.
Yeah. Let's talk about like even family situations, right? Right. Or you're like your sister-in-law. She comes up and is giving you parenting advice. Right? Now you have 2 kids, and I've got a son, plus Gabby's got 2 kids, and I'm raising them. And these folks, you get this sister-in-law that's always giving parenting advice, like she's the expert, and how you deal.
And maybe she doesn't even have any kids.
Yeah, and maybe she don't even have any kids. It's easy for them to give advice, right? But yet they don't have kids. And I remember some stories about some folks that one sister was telling them, and the other sister was giving advice, and then all of a sudden now she has kids, and the roles had changed.
Yep.
Right, and it didn't work what she was saying. So sometimes you just you've got, again, recognize it, accept it, and take action. Right, and you can show in discomfort, or in that situation, say, I appreciate the advice, I'll note it, but I feel that this is the direction I want to raise my kids. And how you do it, I respect, but for me, I think this is a better approach, right? So you just be honest and sincere in what you're doing, right?
Stay calm, confront the situation, be honest about your feelings, and move forward.
Exactly. Now, how about a blind date?
Oh man!
Right?
And
have you ever been on a blind date?
Actually, a while ago, a couple years ago, I was actually on online dating,
Oh, really?
right? And so, I was doing the online dating and had this girl that, was messaging me online and wanted to come over and see me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, well, I'm not really feeling like going out tonight. I'm just hanging in and watching movies. She's like, oh, well, I'll come by. I'm in the area. Okay. She shows up with 2 garbage bags of clothes and her little puppy.
Oh, my gosh.
and so I had to avoid the situation right then and there by saying,
was
it
this Craigslist?
she knew it was me. She saw my picture. I said, I just got a phone call. My mother needs me. I got to take off. I'm sorry. And I walked out, locked the door, got in my car, and took off.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. I think Bill went on a blind date. The girl was blind.
Was her name Eileen?
I think.
And she worked at IHOP?
Yeah, exactly.
That made you uncomfortable, right,
yeah,
Bill?
I didn't. Bill, he's over there red right now.
No, I know some
that's a good example
amazingly
of a joke.
intelligent blind people. I do.
Oh, no.
And when you lose one of your senses, you gain another one. And
Exactly.
it's crazy. There's people that, they're missing a leg or they're missing one of their senses, and they're amazing at something else.
Yep.
And it's incredible how that is.
So the point on that was, not that I was teasing Bill about blind. He really didn't go on a blind date, but making a joke about somebody and putting someone else in an uncomfortable situation, or you being that person. How do you handle that, right? You can laugh it off, or if it's always being done, you got to approach it.
And naturally, I stepped in to try to deflect the situation
Sure.
and change the topic.
Sure.
And ease the mood.
Exactly.
And it was a natural reaction for me. I wasn't even trying to do this for the show.
Exactly. So there's a good example. So we've only got a couple more minutes here. So what do you walk away from today's show? What principles are you learning from today?
Well, it surprised me that, in this one worksheet that's in the back of GetTheYouFactor.com, 5 ways to respond to uncomfortable questions, where it says, subtly show your discomfort, be honest about your feelings, change the subject or ignore it, and then nip the subject matter in the butt, is pretty much the resolution that you do to any and all uncomfortable situations. And I didn't even notice it until after we went through this show.
Sure. I think for me, it's recognizing, how little things, such subtle things can really put you in an uncomfortable situation, and being more aware. I think that, and then doing, as you said, taking the action steps, acknowledge it, accept it, and take action. So I think that's what I learned today.
Awesome. And next week, we're going to be talking about life-changing ways to enhance the body. Let me see the exact name of the show next week, and it's all about treating your body like a temple.
Love your body, love your life.
Love your body, love your life. And so we're going to have a great guest for that episode, and you'll be able to learn a little bit about that.
We're ready to go.
And as we finish out the show, remember, throughout the course of our educational radio video broadcast, combined with our online educational material and workshops, you will discover what has been hiding inside of you all along. Our program is built specifically for you to help you get what you want out of life. You will be presented with key fundamentals that will guide you through anything in life and help you to respond in a different way, a new way, a way you factor to be the best possible way for you. Resolve to make a revolution in your resolution. Set goals you can and will achieve. Discover a champion's mindset. Master persistence and pursue your passions. Empower your life with honesty and integrity. Manifest your reality through daily thoughts of action. Perception and awareness around you will flow with positivity. Visualize your destiny and go out and get it. It is our goal to change your life and the lives of those around you by empowering you with the knowledge to get exactly what you desire. We know we can't change you or your habits or actions. All we can do is to provide you with everything you need to make that change. At the end of the day, it is up to you, and we are here to help. So now it is your decision to take decisive action and get the you factor. We'll see you guys next week.
Talk to you soon.